But suddenly at 45, I feel like I look so much older than I did at 40. Hello, beautiful ladies, and I hope you're doing well today. In today's episode, we are going to get deep and raw and girly and have a fun chat about all kinds of feminine things like estrogen, HRT, taking the pill as HRT, what I'm doing now after my consult with Menopause Taylor. And for those of you in South Africa, and I'm assuming this is available overseas as well, I found a way for you to get the pill without having to go to a doctor. So I'm going to share all that and much more in today's episode. So I wanted to just let you know what I'm doing after my consult with Menopause Taylor. If you haven't seen that video, link down below as always. So I had a consult with Menopause Taylor, and she basically advised me to use the birth control pill as a form of HRT for perimenopause. Now I understand why. It's because it contains synthetic estrogen and a synthetic progesterone, basically the same stuff in menopause hormones. So for menopause replacement therapy, it's lower doses, and she suggested I do a higher dose. So I, true to form, Googled the highest dose of birth control pills here in South Africa, because she was saying at my young age, I'm only 44, I needed a higher dose estrogen to manage my symptoms and for all the things. And so I Googled it, and in South Africa, there's not that many birth control pills available, but there is something called Jeanette, Diane, and I think Minerva is the other one, 35. So they all contain 35 micrograms of ethinyl estradiol, and they all contain the same form of progestin, which is a newer progestin developed for, it's actually an anti-androgenic one, but I don't know how anti-androgenic it is, but it's for women who suffer with like hair growth and acne and those type of things. Anyway, I Googled it, went to the pharmacy to see if I could just get it, because, they've given me my normal pill that I've tried before in the past. They said I needed a doctor's script. So I didn't want to go all the way back to my doctor because he's quite far out. I did some Googling and I found this website called getmypill.co.za. And I thought, well, why not? Let's give it a try. So there's an option where you can go on. I haven't used it extensively, but you can get a once-off script for a pill, which I did. You pay 90 Rand and this script arrived. Obviously, you've got to fill out a medical questionnaire, and then it's like your blood pressure, your weight, your height, your age, a whole lot of things. And then it says, do you want them to recommend a pill or do you want to choose the pill? So I chose Jeanette 35, which is a high estradiol pill. And within, half an hour, the script was emailed to me. Now I'm going to put it here on the screen. It does seem like a dodgy, I don't know if dodgy is the word, but the doctor's a Dr. Alex Wang. Now, I mean, if he's prescribing scripts left, right, and center for women all across South Africa, I don't know how this works. How legal is it? But anyway, it's fine. The pharmacy gave me my pill based on that script. I think there is options where you can do 6 months or whatever. But anyway, there you go. You can get a script without having to go and see a doctor for the birth control pill. They also do the patch. I don't know what else they do. So I am now on the birth control pill again as a form of hormone replacement therapy. Before getting the Jeanette 35, today is only day 2 I've been on it. I was on the bioidentical compounded estrogen gel cream. If you watch my previous videos, you would remember I've even showed it to the screen. Now, this is from a compounding pharmacy, which a lot of doctors say is unreliable because there's no regulation in the compounding industry. I felt that it worked, and it worked fine. However, the progesterone part, I think, was a bit iffy. So I didn't know whether to take progesterone all throughout the month, or what I could do is do it at the end, just like your own cycle, where you have your estrogen rise and then your progesterone rise. So I was doing an experiment by trying to see if I could just do the progesterone at the end. After day 3, where I started the progesterone capsules, my body just spontaneously went into having a period. And as I said to my boyfriend, it was like the Fast and the Furious. It arrived, it was heavy, it was nasty, and then within 2 days it was gone. But what it showed me was that estrogen gel cream certainly grew uterine lining, because TMI, girlfriend talk here, that is kind of what came out, was Yeah, you know all about that. So that estrogen gel cream, it clearly works. And the other sort of side effect, and I've mentioned this before in videos, was that my boobs were very sore and heavy and like water balloons. So my breasts reacted to that estrogen gel cream. And I've also mentioned in videos before, my lady parts were very healthy feeling. So why am I talking in euphemisms? So basically, I didn't realize that my vagina was a little bit drier because on the estrogen gel cream, it was no longer dry. So vaginal dryness was gone. So I can't say that that cream didn't work. It did seem to, but there were also some negative side effects, like the breast tenderness became quite something, and I felt bloated all the time. So there we go. It's just reporting. But my brain felt happy. I felt my mood was good. I felt generally healthy and good. So now I'm on the Jeanette 35. I also wanted to ask your opinion on the background. Can you see I'm really trying to make the background look pretty. I've got my artwork, which I know a lot of it's not finished, but I will finish those paintings, I promise you. So in the background, there's artwork. I've got some color. I'm trying to block off the kitchen. So I'm sitting in a room that leads through to the kitchen. This is just an easel, but I do need a better background. I get that. But I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on YouTube videos in general. If they've got a very pretty background or an interesting background, what are your thoughts? Can you notice an improvement? In general, do you like videos that have something going on in the background? And yeah, can you see the quality is improving somewhat? I hope it is. I wanted to ask you guys for your recommendations on what to watch on Netflix. Now, I know we're jumping topic, but I mean, this is how humans are. I just think Netflix is going to shit lately. So, what do you guys think in terms of anything to watch? Is there anything? Are you guys just watching YouTube lately like I am? There just seems to be nothing on the go. So, I don't know. It just seems like Netflix is shit. The one good thing I watched recently, but it wasn't on Netflix. I'm lucky my boyfriend, he's got an IT company and he knows how to find things on the internet. So we download stuff that's not necessarily on Netflix called through an app called Plex. Anyway, we downloaded Pretty Baby, which is the Brooke Shields. It's a 2-part documentary, and wow, was that good. So this is obviously for women, but yeah, it was a really good documentary. Now, I grew up in the 80s. I think that was when she was more at her height. I was a bit young. So I don't remember everything about her and her claim to fame and all of her stardom. But, as a woman, watching a woman going through her things, her female things, like her challenges, how everyone was so focused on her looks, her mother, and how her mother basically used her. It's something I could relate to, even though I'm not a Brooke Shields beauty. I mean, I'll never achieve those heights of stardom the way she did, but I think almost every woman could probably relate to some part of that story because she's now come full circle. She's a mother, 2 daughters. Shame. Also, her mother was an alcoholic, so there's that aspect. It's just also her finding her voice, which I thought was quite touching at the end, how she actually did find her voice and eventually became brave enough to voice her opinions and stand firm in who she is. So that was a really good watch. But again, that wasn't on Netflix in South Africa. I think maybe overseas it's there. But yeah. Hey, that's actually reminding me of something I wanted to ask you guys. Where are you watching from? So for those of you who've made it this far in my video, I'm assuming you enjoy my content and my style. I would love to know what country you're watching me from, because how many of you are South Africans? How many are from the UK, America, Australia? I don't know, Singapore, wherever. I know that a South African accent is quite unique, very unique. Never, ever, ever say very unique, please. It's unique or it isn't. So a South African accent is different. It's hard to maybe separate it from an Australian accent. And I wonder whether it's easy for you guys to listen to me with an accent, or do you prefer Americans with their American accent? So yeah, I just wanted to find out a little bit more about you. So who are you? Who's watching? I'm going to guess a few things. I'm going to guess you're a mother. I'm going to guess you've got children. I'm going to guess you're between 40 and 50, just like me. And I'm going to guess you're probably working part-time, if not full-time, and you're juggling all the things like we females do. We juggle all the things: beauty, hair, looks, fitness. We're constantly trying to lose those last few kgs. We've got children. We want to be the best mothers possible. We want our kids to have the best life possible, but we want to give our kids everything, and we want to be there for them, but we also don't want to miss out on our own lives. At least that's how I feel, and I'm assuming you feel the same. So that's part of why I do this YouTube channel, is to just connect and unite with women over 40. It's a rough patch in our lives, because suddenly we go from being young and fresh and fertile to this rocky journey between 40 and 50. And it can be, for at least for me, it has been, it can be quite, what's the word I'm looking for? It's quite something. Like at 39, I still felt like I looked 25. Now at 45, I feel, well, I'm nearly 45, not quite. I've still got a little bit to go. But suddenly at 45, I feel like I look so much older than I did at 40. Do you know what I mean? So the jump between 40 and 45 in terms of my body aging is way bigger than the jump from 25 to 40. No, that doesn't make sense. Then the jump from 35 to 40. How's my maths? So yeah, I find that it's a sudden period from 40 onwards. Your eyesight starts going, you start really going gray down there. Who would have thought? As I've mentioned before, wrinkly knees, neck wrinkles, elbow wrinkles. You no longer have the energy that you used to have. You're tired. Probably a lot of you are tired all the time. You just don't have energy. Probably, I'm guessing, a lot of you just are not interested in sex anymore. That goes away. There's so much that happens from 40 to 50, and I think for me at least, it's a bigger shift than I expected. I really didn't expect to be having night sweats. Oh, so that reminds me, mentioning night sweats. Yeah, so when I was on the estrogen gel bioidentical cream, and then I had this fast and furious period that just came on, I decided, because naturally when we have our period, when we're naturally cycling, it's when our hormones drop off, when our estrogen and progesterone both drop off. So I decided, well, I may as well, why am I taking the hormones if I'm having a period? Because maybe taking the estrogen and progesterone is going to mess with the period somehow. I don't know. So I stopped hormones for 3 days. Well, let me tell you what happened. Night sweats. I think I stopped. Day 1 was kind of clammy at night. Day 2, night sweats. Day 3, I woke up sweating. I had to change my top, which reminded me all over again of this whole yucky night sweat story. And then I even felt slightly nauseous in the morning, as I had been feeling before I started experimenting again with HRT or hormones. And that feeling was I just remembered again, all this perimenopausal cuck, this yuckiness. So can you relate if you're going through perimenopause? I know you can, I know you know. And it just shows you how quickly the perimenopausal symptoms come back in 3 days, in 2 days even, off hormones. So it's not a fun thing. Now that I'm on the Jeanettes, I'm already no more night sweats, thank goodness. So something is working there. Hallelujah. And where was I going with all of this? Oh yeah, so in our 40s, we're experiencing all these things, and it's a rocky road. It's a rocky road, and I think we women need to help each other through this rocky road. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to also just chat, talk about all the things, be natural, tell you the real deal, the true story, everything that's just, yeah. I mean, I've got nothing to hide. I'm open, I'm honest, I'm an open book. So like I always tell you exactly the thing. And if I've been wrong about something, I will be honest about it. So possibly when I made my video about what does the birth control pill do to our hormones, and I was saying maybe I was wrong to suggest using the birth control pill as hormone replacement therapy. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know if I was right or wrong. I tested my hormones, and for some reason, nothing showed up in the blood tests. But maybe that's because synthetic hormones, the chemical structure is slightly different. So when you're testing for estradiol, ethinyl estradiol won't show up in the blood test. I don't know. Here's what I know for a fact. A lot of doctors will recommend the birth control pill as a form of HRT for women in perimenopause. Menopause Taylor suggested it to me. I'm trying it again now. And so whether they show up in blood tests or not, it's almost irrelevant. One has to, as Menopause Taylor told me, you have to look at your symptoms. So are your night sweats going away? Are you feeling better? Joint aches and pains going away? And you can judge it by that. You don't actually have to go for blood tests. So there's some food for thought as well. Oh, another thing while we're talking about menopause and perimenopause, I highly recommend, I've mentioned it before, but I recommend it again and a lot. I highly recommend the book, The Menopause Manifesto. I always get tripped up by that. The Menopause Manifesto by Jen, I'm going to say Gunter, but maybe it's Gunter. She's a doctor, an OBGYN, and she has very similar advice and thought in her book to Menopause Taylor, but a slightly different take. This is what's confusing. If you listen to a whole lot of doctors on YouTube or on social media, they each have a slightly different take or different philosophy or different thing that they prescribe or whatever. So my way of dealing with this, because sometimes you don't know who to listen to and which advice to take because they're all credentialed doctors and yet they're saying slightly different things. My take, and this is just, I'm sharing it with you, it might help you, it might not. I don't know if this is going to work for you, but my take is to read a variety of books on that topic by different doctors and then try and understand where that doctor is coming from. What is that doctor's philosophy? Are they old school? Are they more modern? Are they more down the line of naturopathic, homeopathic remedies? Even though they may be a doctor, some doctors sort of switch. Are they very much into conventional medicine? And then try and see if it aligns with what you want for yourself. But I like to get a range of perspectives, and then I like to try and see what each one sort of says that's common ground. I don't know if that's the right way to go about it. Also, then you've got to do trial and error on yourself. And I know when you're brain foggy and tired and perimenopausal and night sweaty and all that, it feels overwhelming and you can feel very tired. I get that. But I would suggest you try and do maybe half an hour every day of reading or listening to someone on YouTube. The alternative is literally there's a set amount of things you can do, and you just trial and error through all of them and see how you feel. Because essentially, you've only got a few options. You're either going to replace hormones, hormone replacement therapy, or you're not. Those are your two options. And if you're going to replace them, if you have a uterus, are you going to use estrogen and progesterone? Or if you don't have a uterus, you're going to just do estrogen, or you're not. You're just going to let nature take its course, or you're going to go herbal, diet, and lifestyle. So in the hormone replacement category, there's just different methods of delivery, and then there is bioidentical versus synthetic, which is actually the same thing, really, because everything is made in a lab. The only thing, and this I learned from the Menopause Manifesto, the only one that is natural is Premarin. Now, Premarin is conjugated estrogens. They come from horse's urine, pregnant mare urine, Premarin. That is as natural as you can get because literally, I don't know how they make it, but I think they're literally like basically boiling the urine off and just reducing it down and gathering the estrogens that are in that urine. So the raw material is there, whereas even the bioidenticals, they have to synthesize the hormones from plants, but it's in a lab, so it's still synthetic. So just beware that the word bioidentical just means that the molecular structure of that hormone is the most similar to what our bodies make. Oh, sorry, I hit my microphone. But it doesn't mean that it is what our bodies make. It comes from a lab and the raw material is a plant. Yeah, I think let's not get too twisted. It's all synthetic, really. At the end of the day, if you're putting something in that you've bought, it's synthetic. In terms of hormone replacement therapy, you've got different delivery methods and you've got obviously different chemical variants of estrogen and progesterone. And you just need to try all of them. And I know that's overwhelming. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed because if I look at the progestin that's in Genet 35, which I'm currently taking, it's a modern progesterone. It's different to some of the others. I don't know which one is better or worse, and you cannot find, there's no one source that says this is a good one or this one is the most well tolerated by all women everywhere. And unfortunately, every woman is different. Every woman has higher levels of androgens or higher tolerance for this or whatever. And so you really do, and it's kind of tiring, but it's also kind of a good thing. You really do have to try and see what works for you. And the good thing is that there are options. The good thing is that there are so many progestins and estrogens out there. And the good thing is you can switch from an oral tablet to a patch. So if you don't want to ingest something, you can let it go through your skin. There are creams, there are IUDs, there are even vaginal rings that deliver hormones. There's also vaginal only estrogen, which my mother is on, because the vagina seems to suffer the most during menopause. It shrivels and dries up and all kinds of yucky things. So there's so many options for us ladies. And I know when we are fatigued and menopausal and you feel achy and sore and just all of this is so overwhelming. I really get that because I've had those days where I'm like, I'm in a fog, I'm in a funk, I'm depressed. But as you can hear, I'm no longer in that space. As you can hear, and you can probably see, because I'm doing makeup, I'm doing a background for my videos, I'm doing things, I'm getting my nails done. I'm back in the game. I'm back in the game of life. So something is working. So I'm not here to push hormones. That's not my decision. It's your life, your body. You do you. Always. You do you. But I am here to say that there is hope and help, and you must do your own research. I say it 1,000 times, but I fully believe that. And don't be afraid to take the time to read, learn, and advocate for yourself. Oh, and last thing before I go, and I suppose we're talking a lot about hormones and perimenopause again on my channel, but by sheer Google luck, I stumbled across a gynecologist in my area who deals with menopause and perimenopause, and on his blog he writes about menopause and perimenopause. So I sent an email to his receptionist, secretary, whatever, his office, and they came back with a very pleasant reply because I was asking, does he sort of do HRT for menopause? Because you just want to suss out whether that's something that the doctor, the gynae supports. Because if they don't waste your time. Anyway, so she sent back that this gynecologist is doing a talk. He's doing a talk for ladies on menopause, and there's tickets available. It's an afternoon high tea. So I'm going to go with a friend, and I'm going to listen to this talk, and then I'm going to get a much better idea of this gynecologist's sort of philosophy and thinking. But I think the thing is that you have to Google, you've got to phone doctors' offices, you've got to find a doctor that aligns with what you want and that you can have a conversation with. So again, it does seem overwhelming and tiring. I mean, you just think like, why can't I just sort this problem? Unfortunately, that's not as easy as that. You do need to fight for yourself and fight for what you want. But isn't that how life works? You've got to keep trying. You've got to fight for yourself, and you've got to never, ever give up, which is something I used to say in my fitness videos. And if you haven't seen my fitness videos, you're missing out. I know they're a few years old, but I'll link to them down below. And I am the fitness lady who has actually let her fitness go because of perimenopause and because of all my perimenopausal woes. So hopefully I get my mojo back in terms of that. I would love to get back into a much steadier, constant fitness routine. So before I go, I think this is going to wrap up my Lou Chats number 2. You can see I'm doing like a more informal, just talking about life, and I hope you're enjoying this format. But before I go, I'd like to know whether you do want to see and hear and find out, learn from me a bit more about fitness, because it is something I do know a lot about, having done fitness competitions, having done fitness diets and all that kind of thing. So if you'd like to know more about that, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you for spending some time with me. I really enjoy doing this. I love making YouTube videos. It's so weird, I know. It suits me because I'm a little bit of an introvert, and yet I love people, and yet I love talking. So there we go. Thank you for watching. If you wouldn't mind, please check if you subscribed. It is so helpful, and it means the world to me. Oh, and before I go, shout out to all my beautiful commenters. There's a commenter who's been so supportive. I'm just going to put her name on the screen. I don't want to butcher the name. And also Linda Lorenzoni, I think it's pronounced. Thank you for all your support and comments on my recent videos. Thank you to all of you new subscribers. I really appreciate you. I love you guys all so much. And I will see you in my next video. I look forward to the next video. Bye.